back to this second solo edition with me, your co-host, Vikram Deol of the RE Agent Podcast. This is where we get real stories from real estate agents, and we talk about what created their success. So hopefully you can model and mentor from them and learn the tools and the tricks and the trade so that you are not a statistic of the 80% who don't make it. Today I got a really cool guest. I'm gonna quote him as the immigrant mindset, and I'm gonna share with you guys, and I'm gonna try to pull out some of the story that he's had, because Kris Ramotar is not your standard agent. He's not the agent who's like, all I want to do is make a bunch of money, grow a team, and then get out of production and never work again. He's probably the exact opposite. And I think a lot of your upbringing probably has to do with that. So without further ado, you guys, let's raise the roost for Kris. And Kris, real quick, just give me a minute, 2 minute, 3 minute background. I know your history is wild.
Yeah.
A little background about you and how you got from where you were in the 80s to where you're at now, in like 4 minutes. Let's get
All right. First, I want to say thank you, Vikram and Cody and everybody at your podcast to have me on your show. I really appreciate it. And I believe this is the first time I'm sharing my story on video, to the world. So born in Guyana, South America, in 1971, migrated to Canada in 87. My dad came first in 1983. We didn't see him for 4 years. We were very poor. We had no running water. We had to fetch water for miles, catch rainwater. Electricity cut off a certain time of the night. We had a kerosene lamp, study. Sometimes your hair singe or you have the soot from your nose. We rented. We didn't have a fridge. 2-burner kerosene stove. We live in the basement of 400 square feet, 4 of us. So that was the picture. We were very poor, walked bare feet as a teenager, had 1 pair of shoes to go to school. 17 came to Canada, was like, wow, we had pretty much, this was like, we were rich in my terms because we had everything, and then started high school at 17 years old, grade 9, started working part-time, cleaning in the factories, whatnot. Then graduated in 95, and then went to FedEx. I worked there for a while, got married. Then I had this dream of having a family and starting a business, got into trucking. One story led to another. In 6 months, we folded over $126,000 in debt in collections. That was in 2005. And then started driving for a company. All we did was pay the mortgages, pay my mortgage. Everything else was left put on hold. And then 2007, my dad passed away, lung cancer. And 2008, Christmas Eve, my mom passed away. So 7/08, lost both of my parents. 4 months later, went into work and they said, we don't need you anymore. April 1st, 2009. May 2009, my ex said, hey, I'm not happy, I'm leaving. So here I am, no job, no parents, my 2 daughters with me. And I'm like, what now? So what I did was I taught myself how to cook, taught my daughter how to ride a bike, and then basically sold our matrimonial home a year later. But in 2009, doors opened for me in the University of Windsor. Got a great job there as a special constable, great benefits. I worked 3 days on, 3 off, and then basically live with my brothers, moving with my brothers, my daughters, myself, and a babysitter. And I work nights sometime, come home, put my kids on the bus, go back to sleep, wake up, pick them up. And it was like that for a while. And then 2010, I'm a special constable, University Police. So I protect probably some of your biggest asset, your children. And then I help you with your biggest asset, real estate. So, right? So, and then 2011, my credit score was like 491 in 2010. Over 126. So when we sell our matrimonial home, went to the bank, pay $10,000 in collections, save up my money for a while, call everybody and say, hey, I want to settle my debts. So from 126, I think I settled everything for maybe about 50 or 60. And then I got a Capital One credit card. And basically what happened is I started using that $500 credit limit. And then I went to the bank, got a car loan, small loan, but it was a 30% interest rate. But I knew to get where I want to be, that was the price I had to pay.
You into my ex-girlfriend's family's car lot. I probably
And then
she's like, I
that's
made
crazy.
$1,000 on a $4,000 sale. I'm like, I don't even want to know how that's legal. I didn't want to know how that's legal.
This was Scotiabank. It was Scotiabank, like, and I knew that was the price I had to pay to get where I want to go. And then a year later, I bought my first townhome by myself. Yeah,
Wow.
it's like, it's crazy. And then from then on, I think I worked my butt off. I save, and I was
Let's go back a little bit here, because I don't think people understand. Like, I don't think people in the Western culture understand when you say we had to collect rainwater, we had to walk up and down the street for miles and kilometers to get buckets of water, and then we had to lift them and carry them sloshing back. And by the time you get home, if the bucket's like 3/4 full, you're excited because like you're literally, that's the water for showering, cooking, cleaning. Like, people don't realize that. And it gives me chills because I had a small experience of that. Not because my family was poor, but just because we were living in India. Long story for another day. So I've seen it, and now I've been in South America for the last 3 months, and I've seen again what most of the world lives like. Most
sure.
people in other countries would kill for the US and Canadian problems.
Of course, yes. I mean, and that was us because I never thought about I would be in Canada and just randomly my dad went one day and he visited his sister husband and he was coming and he's like, I'm coming in next week, and that was it. Yeah. We had an outhouse, yeah.
And then people don't realize this as well, is that immigrants, right? Like, they will send one representative of the family, work, save up. They're sending money back home. They're living, any which way possible. They're not living the glam life. Even if they make decent money, they're sending all their money back home.
Of course, yes.
Try to bring one kid over, one person over. Or, if the kids are young, it's like, how do I bring the wife and kids at the same time? And then you're going from, okay, I'm sending a couple $100 back home, which is gold.
That's a lot of money, yes.
Now I got 4 mouths to feed on the same couple $100. Like, holy crap, wait, what did I just do? Like, we were doing okay, and now we're poor again. Like, I just want you guys to take a second and understand that there's something that my friend and mentor Bedros Keuilian calls the immigrant mindset. That is a competitive advantage that some people have that others don't. And what I would like for people to take away from this, Kris, is I would like people to really pretend like this is your life and work like you had nothing. Because I think a lot of people work like they have a second option. But if you work like you have nothing, I think there's a lot more impact there.
And you're 100% correct, because I think that's where my scarcity mindset came from. Because I felt being so poor and being so down in the dump in the hole, it couldn't get any worse. And I don't want to ever go back there again, And fast forward to 2016, I was at the gym and I met one of my colleagues and he's like, hey, I'm going to go do real estate. I'm like, hey, that sounds interesting. So he said, I'm going to go sign up. So I went home and I signed up the same night, and he still hasn't even signed up yet.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
Is he
then
an immigrant?
No.
There you go. People talk about these glamorous things like, oh, I'm going to do real estate. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make all, and then they just don't execute. Like, just don't fucking say anything, y'all. Just don't talk, because if you don't say it, you don't put it into ethos, right? You might have the feeling inside, but if you don't say it, like, you don't put it out there, because once you put it out there and you don't do it, you become a person over time that just doesn't follow through with their word.
Yes.
Like, so just don't do that to yourself. Like, don't screw yourself. Like, so you got your real estate license 2016, 17.
17, yes. April 1st, yeah.
You're still a police officer, working 3 days on, 3 days off.
Correct, yes.
First year, how much production?
I did 8 deals from April to December. I think GCI was 49,000.
Okay. So your first year in, you are basically, right about the average income of most real estate agents. Your GCI is 50K. So you're a little bit better 8 months in, and you still are working, or you've quit your police job?
No, up to today, I still have that job.
Hold up. Time out. Wait. you've been doing real estate for 5 years,
Yes.
and you consider yourself full-time or part-time?
I think I'm full-time because I spend more time in real estate. When everybody's sleeping, I'm doing something. I'm always learning something.
So you are managing a full-time job and a family, and you are a full-time real estate agent.
Correct. Yes.
Now, I would assume you're not just making 50 grand a year because you're on this call with me. So I know what your numbers are. So I assume that your second year was a little bit better.
No, the second year I went downwards. I did 5 deals.
Oh my gosh. What the hell happened, Kris?
So what happened was the brokerage I went with was an old guy. He was the one that opened the door for me. I reached out to several brokerages. Nobody did. Nobody wanted to hire a part-time agent. So I had my suit on, dressed up for a round-the-page local brokerage here, and they said, nope, we don't want you unless you can commit to full-time. So I'm like, hey, I can't. I'm sorry. So then 2 years in, I left that brokerage, went to the next brokerage, and the third year I made 99K.
But why did you go down? Why did you go down from 49 to from 8 deals to 5 deals?
I think was no training, no support, lack of knowledge of what to do, no guidance, no mentorship. I think that played a huge part. And then I became hungry. To me, I don't want to do this, just put in my feet and dabble. Either you do something really well and you want to be successful, or you don't do it at all. So as time goes by, I started watching Ricky Carute, Tom Ferry, all the big agents out there, and I take a little bit of them and I started implementing into my business. And I find once I started going to YouTube, I stopped watching TV. I don't watch TV anymore.
I love you.
I go to YouTube and I start to learn everything. I do everything myself. So I do my Facebook ads, I do my YouTube ads, I do my Google PPC myself, I do my editing and filming for the most part. So I do everything myself.
Bro, stop this shit.
And then, like, I believe I went to EXP and wrong sponsor. I did well. Like, wherever I go, I did well because it was me. It was not a company I was at. It was not whatever brokerage I went to that made me successful. It was me because I was hungry. I wanted to become better. I wanted to do better. I think the scarcity mindset, because we were poor, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back and have collectors coming after me. And I want to make a better life for my family. And I think because being hungry and obsessed, that's what drives me to become better every day. I'm always learning something, teaching myself something, innovating. So left EXP, went to Remax, love it, love the people, the culture, but the growth, there was no growth. When I talk about, hey guys, let's do some mastermind, they're like, here's my newest listing. This is what we have coming up in the market. I don't want to know your listing. I don't want to know your listings. I want to know what we could do for each other to take ourselves to another level. So Brad McKillum, my good friend, he's a Remax. We started talking before Rail even came into Canada, before even Rail was, Tim Macy brought it to, I think, Texas. So we started talking and we became good friends. And then he's like, hey man, just want to let you know something's good coming. I'm not telling you what to do. We had conversation and I said, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. And you know what? As it came to Canada and we talked, I'm like, you know what? This could be an opportunity versus that other brokerage that I left, where when I joined, we were like 2,000 agents at Rail. And I said, this is an opportunity for me and my family down the road. I could be a pioneer for my family, a legacy. This is going to be my legacy. And I jumped on it. And I think last year I went into rooms I never thought I would be in. Like I was with all the big agents and it was life-changing. I felt like I belong. That imposter syndrome, I still have it sometimes. But I know because I'm good as anybody out there because I think I've learned and craft my trade and I'm hungry. Yeah, there are doubts at the moment. There are doubts at every time. But I said, my level, I'm not a level 10 like some people doing it for 20 years, 30 years. I'm only 5 years in. And I always tell everybody, enjoy the journey. The outcome, don't worry about the outcome. If you keep doing the work, at the end of the day, it's going to happen. You just got to be hungry, obsessed, and be consistent.
So much to unpack there. But Sharon, who's now the president of Real, is a really good friend of mine and been a mentor and a coach of mine. And now, he messages like, oh my God, dude, you lost your phone and you got mugged. What the f- is going on? Are you like, you need to come back to America? I'm like, Sharon, I'm fine. He's like, I know you're fine, but bro, and it's crazy that he's now the CEO CEO or the president of the company, um, because that's the culture that he loves, right? And what you talk about is the same thing he always says. He's like, Vikram, just keep putting content out. Just keep doing it. Be consistent, right? Have your knowledge, like just keep doing the things that are going to work. And if you do that and you have the immigrant mindset, right? Obsessed and hungry. You know, Gary Vee, Sharon, so many people say you got to be obsessed and you got to be hungry.
Yeah.
Pedros, who's like, you know, he started up Fit Body Boot Camp, which was on the Inc. 500 almost every single year, I believe. Says the same thing. The immigrant mindset is the hungry mindset. Now, not every immigrant goes out and does successful things. Like a lot of immigrants, they can't get out of the scarcity mindset. I want to unpack a little bit here because I think this is really important. A lot of agents leave their job and they get into real estate and they have zero structure, right? Because one of the things that a lot of agents don't recognize is that you don't get into real estate having structure. You get into real estate and everything crumbles because most real estate agents have never been an entrepreneur. So they all of a sudden go from, hey, you got to be here at 9:00. You got to do this. You got to scrub the toilets, this. And you're like, right, you got to wear this jacket. You got to wear this tie. You got to wear, I got it. So great. And then you show up to real estate one day and you're like, well, shit, I can show up at 11:00. I can check the MLS for 4 hours and they feel busy, but they're not productive.
Of course. Yes. 100%.
And with you keeping the job, it forced you to say, well, I only have a couple of days a week that I can work. So I have to get really, really clear with my calendar and my schedule. Otherwise, I am going to not have the results I want. Correct?
That's correct. And then like coming back to consistency, I think I sent you a message this morning. Every Friday, I go to the MLS and pull up the data. I have a weekly video market update. Every Friday, I do that. Saturday, consistently at least 2 years.
And how many views? How many views do you have?
On 242,000 from 1999, I think around December on YouTube, 242,000. Okay.
No, not 1990. What year?
I mean, 2019, sorry.
2019. Okay. I was like, 99, you were not in real estate, my friend.
Yes, correct. Sorry, my bad.
2019 to 2.5-ish years, 3 years, I guess, but not
3 years,
consistently. Yeah. You've got how many views?
242,000 views.
And do you think that any of those views have come and become clients of yours?
Yeah, I made over 100,000 already off of YouTube alone.
You guys, we talk about fame is the best business model, right? We are doing this podcast to serve, but we also, Cody and I have businesses where we coach real estate agents, where we help with the marketing of real estate agents, where we have a call center, and we want to get that out to the world by providing value through what we love doing, which is talking and video.
Yes.
And so, Kris, you just blew my mind because this is what I talk about inside the Real Estate Growth Academy. It's what Cody talks about. Just do a weekly market update and post it everywhere and then make an email out of it and post it. And you will be shocked that people over time will actually look forward to those emails and they will say, hey, Kris, we didn't get the email today. Because they become trained to see it.
Yes.
And yet so many agents are scared. And Kris, you obviously are a foreigner. I can tell you have a little bit of an accent. And I say this with love. Because I'm now a foreigner for the last 90 days in many different countries and they laugh at my accent. Does anybody ever say, oh my God, you sound like a foreigner?
You know what? Yeah. And that's me. I embrace it. I don't care what the people think, honestly. At the end of the day, if you like me, you're going to pick up the phone and say, hey, I like this guy. We connect. I'm going to do business with him. Yeah.
And you build trust, you guys. Like the last guest that we just interviewed, he's like, I don't need people to like me. I need people to trust me.
That's correct. 100%.
Right? Like we don't need, the fallacy in the world is that we need to be liked. Fuck being liked, you guys.
No.
Trust me. No. A lot of my clients don't like me, but they know that I will give it to them straight, which makes them trust me. And they actually might not like me, but they love me because they understand that we are here for them to help them. So with your immigrant mindset, so last year, you made 6 figures, mid 6 figures.
Last year with the 2 jobs, I think I did about 330K.
Okay, so real estate was
260.
okay. So your real estate business is now almost tripled your income from the
Yes,
corporate job, the police
yes,
work.
yes.
Why stay as a police officer?
I have a plan, and that's why I came where I am today, at Rail. My plan in 4 years is to walk away from my other job. My kids still will get free education. I will still have my pension and benefits. And my plan is to grow my team in Canada and US, and whatever I bring on, they're going to supplement that university income. That's my plan.
But Kris, I love you. I love you already. And we don't have a lot of time here.
All right.
But is the scarcity mindset potentially made, and I'm not trying to, I know that you have the 4 year, the education and all this stuff, but if you were to go full time and work 6 days a week in real estate and build your real business and build your sales skills up even more and build your, output more, could you not make $500,000? Could you not make $600,000 and then you put money away for your kids' education and in 4 years, right? Is that like, I'm just curious,
That's the plan in 4 years, or more like 3 years. Yes.
Okay.
But right now, I think because it's my security blanket, it's there for me. Real estate right now, the market's very uncertain. I know I'll be okay. I have no qualms about it. And I think because it's there and I have a family, that's why I'm there. Yes.
And here's why I was pushing this, guys, because I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to do real estate if you do it the right way. And the right way is you set boundaries, you tell your clients when you can be available, you show up, you do the work that needs to get done, right? You're still available potentially. There's a couple of people I've coached that were police officers. So they have a little bit more flexibility depending on what they're doing, that you're not always in need. You have breaks, you have time in your car, things like that, where you can check your phone and, still do your job, whatever. I think one of the most important things that you said is that I have self-awareness about what makes me feel safe. And because I'm safe, I'm now able to go create this other level of badass income and business, but without that safety net there for my family, right? Because you don't want them to have to ever experience what you did other than through your stories. That safety blanket creates an opportunity, which I think a lot of real estate agents, they lose the blanket and then their world starts to crumble. Their mindset starts to crumble. Everything is, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't belong. I suck. I should just quit. And so I think that you hit something very important, but you've also learned how to fit it into your world, because last year, how many transactions did you do?
Last year, I did about 33. This year, I did a lot less, about 23. But I did a flip, which netted me a little bit of good money. So I made more money this year versus last year already.
Yeah,
I'm doing 2022. 2022, yes.
Yeah, because we're recording this January 2023.
Yeah.
So you, we talk about 2022 because this is probably going to come out in 2 months or so, month and a half. You have a very deep level of self-awareness is what I'm picking up from you.
Yes, I always want to better myself. I'm always looking to improve myself. Like right now, I just bought John Chaplack recruiting course. He had it on sale. So I bought that because I want to start to recruit. Over time, I don't have an office, but that's something I'm thinking about down the road. So
that's you guys. I want you guys to listen to. He got into real estate by accident, but he's not he's successful not by accident. So real estate was accidental for him. Hey, let's go get our real estate license. I'm going to sign up. Oh, cool. Sounds great. I'm going to do it too. His friend, no, idiot. Maybe he's making a lot of money. I don't know, but whatever. Idiot, didn't do it. You, on the other hand, did it. But there is no accident why you are successful.
No, it was hard work. I mean, it's still hard work. Still every day you got to be hungry. You still got to do the work because, if you don't do the work, somebody else going to take your client. Yeah.
And what I love about your immigrant mindset is that you had a choice to either be a victim of the mindset or a victor of the situation. And you decided, I am going to be a creator and I'm going to create a quality of life. It gives me chills. I'm going to create a quality of life that is far exceeds what I could ever have dreamt of in 1980 when my, carrying buckets of water, burning ourselves. You guys, kerosene lamps are like, it's the ones that have the black soot that come up, all right? Like they don't put out a shitload of light. So it's like you have a small 3x3 window, right? And you got 6 people living in a 400 square foot house. I'm looking at this hotel room I'm in. I'm like, damn. I walked in. I'm like, this shit's so small. And you're like, oh my God, we have 600 square feet. We're rich, right? Like we have to be grateful for what we have, because if we're not grateful, God will just keep taking away from us.
And I think you really touched on a really important point, because every time I feel like I want more, I stop and I pray and I say, thank you, God, for everything I have. Every morning I drive to work. The first thing I do is pray all the way to work. I said, thank you for everything. Because I remember where I came from. I remember when I was at my worst point in my life. And sometimes I kind of like, I cry because it's such been a blessing, and to overcome all the struggles. I wish my parents were here to see it, but I mean, unfortunately, they're not. So yeah,
they see it.
Yeah,
they see. They know. Damn. You got me fired up, buddy. You guys, I think what I would love for you guys to take away after jamming with Kris and rapping with him for a while, I think one of the big things that I want you to take away is that we don't have excuses for us to not be successful other than ourselves. And
True.
that means you got to work another job, right, to get your feet on the ground so that you can pay for a coach or get some mentoring. Or if that means you got to go into YouTube University and spend hours and hours and hours. I'm like you, dude. Like you can ask Cody. He's like, dude, all Vikram does is like, it's either politics or it's health or it's workouts or it's real estate or it's sales. Like it's never like, yeah, there's a little bit of comedy in there, but there's never like really music on. It's always just like, I just like overflow of knowledge, which some people, that's too much for them. But for other people, like that just keeps us in the flow.
Yeah.
There is not a lack of resources. There's a lack of resourcefulness. So if you don't have the money to afford a coach, just start listening to the experts that are doing well.
Yeah. So right. 100% right. Yep. But when you could afford a coach, you get a coach. I did have a coach, and 2 times my coach asked me to coach the group of what I do. And I'm like, okay, if you're my coach and you're asking me to coach a group, I don't think I need a coach anymore. I'm out.
And I would say, I don't think you need that coach anymore.
Correct.
When you outgrow the coach, that's a beautiful thing. And there's nothing wrong with it. I would just say, level up your coach.
That's what I'm looking at. I think my next point, I got to tell the boss, the wife, hey, I got to invest in a coach. Yeah, you know how it is.
I mean, I could tell you my funny story about when I hired my first coach with my wife. But that's another time, another place. Kris, I really appreciate you being on and sharing openly and vulnerably your story. Where can people find you?
Just like a song, Kris Ramotar everywhere. KRIS RAMOTAR, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Where there's video, Kris Ramotar is going to be there.
Oh, so that means he's probably going to be going to Twitter pretty soon.
I'm on Twitter too, man. Yeah.
Mr. Beast just got hired by Elon, I heard, and he is going to change the platform. I would only imagine. Crazy 24-year-old, like already rubbing shoulders with Elon Musk and yeah, there's so much opportunity out there, you guys. You can do 12 deals a year. You could do 24 deals a year. You could do 36 deals a year, right? Well, you start getting to 48 and 50, that becomes a little bit more time challenge, but you can do as a solo agent 100 with a couple of assistants. Like you can do it. It's doable. Yeah. It's doable. It's not easy and it's not going to be a cakewalk, but you can do it. You can do 50. You can make life-changing money for yourself. Kris, I can't wait to get this out. I am super pumped. You guys, if you like Kris's story, do us a favor. Share this with somebody who needs to learn a little bit about how to pick themselves up. You might have some friends that are blaming the market, blaming this, blaming that. You guys, it's always going to be a challenging market. Share this, like us, give us a 5-star review, or drop a negative comment. Either way, we appreciate you guys watching. Peace out.
I just have one more thing. If anybody wants to reach out to me for any information, I'd be more than happy to share what I do or what I learn without any catch. Yeah.
And I'm going to charge you guys money for it. So just chat to me first. I'll get paid and then I'll have Kris do the work. I'm just kidding, you guys.
That's all right.
Pay it forward. I love it. Kris, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vikram. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Stay safe.
You too.
All right. Thanks.